Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about the original Saw because I've never seen it before, and I decided to watch all of these movies for this October because I thought it would be a good idea to watch nothing but horror movies this month, and I've already started that with Suspiria from 1977, and now we're going into Saw. And this movie is directed by James Wan. It came out in 2004. And I thoroughly enjoyed this movie for the most part. I don't think it's a perfect movie, but I thought it was a solid movie overall. Without getting into my negatives, I liked the first half better than the second half. I felt as though the introductions of everything was really good, and the movie does a good job at keeping you with it, especially in the first half of the movie. And there are some scenes in the first half of the movie that I thought were genuinely terrifying, especially one scene. I can't say what it is, but it is very effective for me. And there's nothing gory in that one scene that I'm talking about, but it's just terrifying, what's happening when you think about it, when it's of what could happen. And I thought it was very effective, especially with a specific editing choice that they did. I kind of want to talk about how this movie is being treated and what I feel as though it actually is. What these movies are basically nothing but gore and traps and people getting tortured and killed in extremely violent ways that are really bloody. And the first movie, I think, is very restrained. There are some things that I have seen before, like I've seen the ending of this movie before, and certain traps and a couple other things from this movie, just because they're so iconic. Even with all of that, I still enjoyed the movie, and the parts that are bloody, they really aren't, they don't really show too much of what's going on. And there are a couple scenes where you see blood, and most of it is left up to your imagination as to what's going on, which makes it a bit more effective than showing what's going on to whoever's being affected, is what I'm going to say, affected. And the traps are fun, but they're more spread out in this movie, and what this movie is, it's kind of a murder mystery, and they're trying to figure out who this jigsaw killer is, and Danny Glover is just trying to track him down and catch him, and his character's gone through some things that I found to be interesting, and it mostly focuses on Adam and Dr. Gordon in this movie, and they're in a trap, and they're just trying to get out, and they have only a certain amount of time to get out of said situation, otherwise they're gonna die. And I enjoyed the performances for the most part. There were a couple moments where characters did deliver lines that were a little goofy, and there are a couple of goofy lines in the movie. But for the most part, the acting was good. And this is also a low-budget film, so you're going to see a lot of things that are not really, how should I say, it's kind of noticeable that it's a low-budget film. Like, you see characters driving a car, but when you look at the background, it's just all black, and it's also kind of foggy. It's like, oh, and it's also edited to be really fast, and it's supposed to imply that they're driving fast, and the backgrounds are black, and it's like, I can't tell what's going on what's behind them. It's because you're not supposed to. And there's going to be stuff like that in this movie, where it kind of shows that it's a low-budget film, but for the most part, I think it works. And in terms of things that are kind of disgusting to look at, there's only like 2, maybe 3 scenes in the movie where it's a little disgusting and gross to watch. Kind of. One of them is a gag when Adam is looking for a clue, and I can't say what it is because I don't want to spoil the joke. And that brings me to another point. This movie isn't always taken seriously. There are a couple jokes that I thought were kind of funny, but there were a couple lines in the movie that were unintentionally funny for me, and it might have to do with it's a mix between how it was delivered and how it was written. There was a point where Danny Glover was shooting his gun and his gun was empty, and he said a line, I'm not even going to say what it is, that made me laugh out loud because it was unintentionally funny. And another thing to bring up, this movie didn't always have my attention. It did feel as though it went on for a little too long for what it was. This movie isn't even 2 hours long, but it did feel a little stretched out. And the ending, I wasn't huge on without spoiling it. There are a couple things in the movie that don't really make any sense when you think about them. Just plot holes that I'm not going to talk about. But there's enough in the movie that I liked. And up until that last scene, that last couple minutes of the movie, I thought it was really good. And I would recommend you check this movie out. If you're not a fan of blood, then I guess I think you'll be okay. There might be one scene in this movie that may make you think, I don't know if I want to go through with this, but I think you'll be fine. But I could be completely wrong. I can't be right all the time. This is just my personal opinion. I think it has an interesting story. It doesn't super overstay its welcome. There's some characters that are interesting, and although this movie is low budget, for the most part it didn't really show that it was a low budget film. And I would recommend that you check this movie out. I think it's a pretty good movie for what it is, especially. And I'm going to give Saw, the original, a 7 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of Saw, the original, down below. And my social media links, they will all be in the description down below, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation. And I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that's going to be for An American Werewolf in London. So look forward to that. But until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day. I saw Saw. Hello, Amanda. I want to play a game. That's my Tobin Bell impression.